I'm starting just a little bit early tonight. Because I had to get up these past 2 days early for work. And I need to get up early tomorrow too. Man. You know, I want to be here and do this. I haven't shiny hunted in days. Days, I tell you! I'm just itching at the neck to get back into it. But at the moment, I kind of just don't have anything to hunt. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. What do I need to do? Let me see. So last time, we made it through permutations 1 to 12 and 16. So now, permutation 13, knockout 3, knockout 4, catch 2. Yeah, I just don't really have anything to hunt right now. I want to continue grinding in this game, but I'm kind of roadblocked by this permutation hunt. I don't want to get the permutation hunt done on my own. So I'm kind of stuck until I get to do it here. Once I get done with this permutation hunt, I can finally continue grinding on my alpha decks. Which, like I said, I'm roadblocked until I get this permutation hunt done. Okay, so not playing Legends Arceus at the moment. At least not until this permutation hunt is done. So what else can I do? Uh-oh. Well, what I've actually been doing... What I've been doing is I have been hatching Yanma eggs in Brilliant Diamond. I did want a shiny of that. Actually, I want 2. I want a Yanma and a Yanmega. Hold on. Yeah, knockout 3, knockout 4. How did this one not notice me? Is it me, or is this one bigger than the rest? Where's the other one? Yeah, I've just been hatching Yanma eggs, trying to go for 2 shinies. I'm not really doing it, I'm doing it on and off, you know, Yes, I've wanted to get a shiny Yanma, 2 in fact, in Brilliant Diamond for quite a long time, but it's like, at the moment the motivation's not there. I'm doing it, I'm gonna get it done, but it's like, the motivation's just lacking. You know, I don't like to move on to another hunt while I'm still in the process of doing one. AKA, I'm not done this alpha dex yet, which I can't continue until I finish this permutation. And you know, there's a couple of other things I could hunt that are on my list of things to hunt, but it's like, once again, the motivation's just not there at the moment. I still have the regional forms in Legend ZA. A goal of mine is to get a shiny alpha, excuse me, a shiny alpha of every regional form in Legend ZA. And there's definitely a good amount that I'm missing. I'm missing, well, both regional forms of Meowth. I got a shiny alpha Berserker as is, but I still need a Galarian Meowth and an Alolan. I need a shiny alpha Galarian Mr. Mime and Mr. Rhyme. Like regional forms and the evolutions too. I'm still missing a shiny alpha Galarian Stunfisk. Like, you know, there's a couple of things like that I could hunt, but motivation's just not there. Anyways, I need to catch 3. Where's the second one, let alone the third? Was it catch 3 or was it catch 2? Wait, let me see. No, it's just catch 2. Oh, by the way, I literally realized this moments before starting this tonight. I recently got reminded of the existence of this song. Wolves by Selena Gomez. I don't think my entire life I knew it was by Selena Gomez. Hell, I didn't even know the song was titled Wolves. I thought it was titled To Get To You. I've said in the past that I don't really know music like that. Like the way I'm not really into music the same way I'm into Hollywood and video games. So a lot of the music industry I am a complete novice on. So a lot of popular songs, it's like, oh, I didn't even know this artist made that song. I didn't know this was the name of that song. That kind of stuff. So I don't think I've ever known that Wolves was sung by Selena Gomez, let alone the name of the song. I just heard it on the radio the other day and I got reminded, oh yeah, this song exists. I like this song. And then tonight I just had an inkling to be like, how does a music video actually go? So I looked it up. I actually typed in To Get To You, but it's like, oh, the song is called Wolves. And I don't think I've ever seen the music video, actually. When I saw the music video, I was like, is she in the back rooms? Sure, the color is a little off, but like, is she in the pool rooms? There's even security cameras on computer monitors. It's like, is she in the back rooms in this thing? Anyways, what other news has come out that I should cover? So the big Lego scandal is still going on right now. I think it's reaching the end of its, its story tell. I think it may be reaching its conclusion soon, but not yet. We don't have a resolution just yet. Okay, so no shiny alphas this time. Let me mark that off. Up next is Knockout 4, Knockout 2, Catch 3. Knockout 4, that should be easy. So today, we got a couple of video game announcements. We got the first official trailer for Persona 4 Revival. The game looks good. The game looks really good. It looks almost too good. With how bright and flashy the game is, it's almost like a flashbang in your face. But Persona 4 Revival, it looks good. It's coming out next year, though, which kind of sucks, but, it is what it is. Are you guys ready to watch me play the same game again on the channel? Just with a fresh paint job? Because I will! So the voices, it's not the same voice cast, but it sounds pretty similar. Obviously, they're not the same. I think Teddy sounds the most different. In terms of Persona 4, the most notable voices, at least to me, are Yosuke, Yukiko, Chie, Teddy. To my understanding, Naoto's voice changes all the time. I think Risei's voice may have changed. I'm actually not too sure. And Kanji, well, he's just a raspy voice, kinda. Somewhat raspy, so it's like, Wasn't it Troy Baker who voiced Kanji? So to hear the voices, yes, it's a bit of a shame that they're different, but, I'm kind of 50-50 on this, On one hand, yes, I would love for the original voice cast to return and voice their characters, even after all these years. But, on the other hand, just like with Persona 3 Reload, I'm actually not against what I've seen or what I've heard. Having played Persona 3 Reload and then going back to play Persona 3 Portable, FemC, yes, the voices are different, but most of them are similar enough, Yeah, on one hand, I would love for the original voice cast to return and reprise their roles as their characters, but on another hand, it's like, I also don't hate the whole approach of a different interpretation for a character, someone else portraying the character. Or at least voicing a character, we talking recast in a live-action project, and that's something completely different. I hate it when that happens. Okay, what was it again? Knockout 4, Knockout 2. And not only did we get the gameplay trailer for Persona 4 Revival, we also got the official announcement for Persona 6. You know, I was actually joking around, texting No Shame in Feeding when the Persona 4 Revival trailer came out. I'm just thinking, yo, forget... It is Knockout 2, right? Yeah. Forget waiting like a year to 2 years for the equivalent of Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Festival, you know. Forget waiting a couple years for the quote-unquote definitive edition to come out. Yo, just wait a decade plus for Persona 3 Reload, Persona 4 Revival. And I was joking with No Shame in Feeding, saying I will not be purchasing Persona 6 on release day. I was obviously joking. And then, like, an hour later, they freaking posted the reveal trailer for Persona 6! I was joking! Okay, now it's Catch 3. Wow, those two are asleep. Never mind. And another thing, too, the leaks we got quite a long time ago, yo, that leak was right. Persona 6 is green color themed. I mean, that's not the hardest thing to predict, you know? Persona 3 is blue, Persona 4 is yellow, Persona 5 is red. There's only so many more colors, you know, bright, vibrant colors they could pick from. We technically got pink with FemC, and I've never played 1 and 2. Though I hear 1 and 2 are like purple and orange themed, maybe. I would love a remake of Persona 1 and 2 so I can actually play those goddamn games. It's not exactly easy to access those games. I know I could just emulate them, but I don't know how to emulate them. And then some mess about there being like multiple versions of Persona 2. Just like how there was like a dozen versions of Persona 3. Anyway, so Persona 6 is green colored. It almost looks supernatural, maybe. It almost looks like it took place in a graveyard. Like a cemetery. I don't know, maybe Persona 6 is gonna bridge the gap between life and death itself. You gotta literally die to access your Persona. The afterlife is where all the shadows are. Persona 6 gives off, at least from the reveal trailer, it gives us a very scary, spooky vibe. Like a Halloween vibe. Then again, who knows? These games have been pretty bright and colorful the past 3 games that I've experienced. Now, I didn't get into the Persona franchise until after Joker was announced for Smash. I was thinking, I don't know who the hell this guy is. I don't know who this character is. And it's like, oh, Persona series. I don't really know this series at all. I barely heard of this series. Oh, it's a really good game? Persona 5? The game for that Joker's from? Hey! If it's a great game, like people are saying, and I don't know who this character is, let me buy the game and give it a try. So that's how I got into Persona, after Joker was announced for Smash. So, yeah, after I played Persona 5, then I worked my way backwards. Well, there was, of course, Persona 5 Royal, but then again, you know. And then it was Persona 4, Persona 3. Though I actually wonder, will they release a Persona 6 Definitive Edition later on? You know, I actually wonder if they will do that. But, you know, I just can't believe it's real. So, to my knowledge, Persona 5... I actually don't know when Persona 5 was announced. Persona 5 came out in 2016, did it not? So it took 10 years for them to announce a brand new game, like a genuine brand new game. And it'll take them, I don't know, 11 to 12 years to release the 6th installment after the 5th. Great job, Atlas. I mean, on one hand, you know, they did release brand new, clean, shiny, polished versions of 3 and 4 for a newcomer like me to experience. But on the other hand, it's like, damn, I just got into the franchise, and you made me wait this long for the next game. Okay, Knockout 4, Knockout 3, Catch 2. Oh, quick little thing. The other day when I was on my way to work, on the highway, I noticed a big carrier truck. You know those big vehicles that carry other vehicles? Not like a tow truck, but like, you know, a big vehicle that carries 1 to 2 cars behind it. So I saw one of those on the highway, but strapped in onto the back was a toy car, like a Tonka toy car. It was fastened in too, like genuinely fastened in. It was a tiny little toy truck. Damn, I wish I got a picture, but, you know, we were just speeding on the highway. There was no time. Like, it was an actual yellow toy dump truck, genuinely strapped into a big actual truck, going like 100 plus on the highway. It was Knockout 4, right? Yeah. Damn, I really wish I got a picture of it. Anyway, so let's see. Yesterday night, I could have done this, but instead, after a long, hard day at work and having to wake up early as well, my friends wanted to come over. Wake up early in the morning, work hard throughout the day, and when I get home, nope, no rest for me. I gotta host these bastards. I mean, it was fine, you know, I enjoyed my time, of course. And one person showed up, you know, invited, of course. He showed up, and I haven't seen this guy. I haven't talked to him in like 10 years, you know? There is a very good chance I haven't spoken to this guy in like 10 years. We were in elementary school together. We didn't really talk that much. We were in elementary, and then we were in high school as well. At this point, high school was like 8 to 9 years ago, like graduation-wise. And then, you know, we didn't talk that much in high school either, so let's say roughly around 10 years was the last time I spoke to this guy. Well, it's just me, because other friends talk to him, other friends hang out with him. Not me, though. So I just haven't spoken to this guy in like 10 years. I haven't seen him in like 8, 9, 10 years. So, you know, it was pretty cool to see him again. You know, he's chill. It actually turns out that he's gay as well. I didn't know that about him. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but, you know, I just never thought, I never expected that. Knowing him back then, knowing him even in high school when we barely talked, and then almost 10 years later, I get told, oh yeah, by the way, he's gay. I'm like, what? Really? I didn't know that. You know, he doesn't really act gay. And in the past, when I've seen him, I never really got that vibe from him. Okay, now it is, yeah, catch 2. Anyway, so yesterday my friends came over, and yes, we did end up watching a film. We watched Send Help. This movie came out earlier this year. Yeah, I saw trailers for it. I didn't really think much of it. You know, I can't see Rachel McAdams without thinking of Mean Girls. Of course, she was also in the Doctor Strange movies as well. But yeah, I kind of just can't see Rachel McAdams without thinking of Mean Girls. So yeah, last night we watched Send Help. However, I'm not going to talk about that film today, because today I have another movie to go over. Excuse me. I'll go over Send Help next time. I know, I have shows I want to go over too. Like Spider Noir. I want to go over that, and the rest of the episodes of From. Busy, busy, busy. Very, very busy. And now, especially with the new job messing up my entire schedule. Okay, aggro 1. Isolate you. Damn it! Well, it's fine. So instead, today, I have another movie to go over with you guys. A couple days ago, my friends and I, we went and watched The Backrooms in theaters. Now, before I mention the movie itself, let me say this. Before actually going to watch The Backrooms, someone upstairs was looking out for me. Because, of course, we try to watch the movies as cheap as possible. And because Backrooms is pretty popular, it was pretty booked. The best time we can go was around like 10 at night. So my friends, they were actually wondering, y'all want to eat something first? And because that day I worked and I didn't eat much, at least to my knowledge, if I remember correctly. That day I didn't eat much during the day, so I was pretty hungry, and then you're telling me I have to wait until like 9 p.m. to eat dinner before going to the movie at 10. I just thought to myself, man, I'm just going to stay home and I'm going to eat first because I'm starving. You guys can go ahead and eat, you know, eat out together, and then I'll just join you guys for the film. And yo, someone was looking out for me upstairs, because after I got done eating at home, I was getting ready to go out, and then, uh-oh, I need to use the bathroom. Now, imagine if I went out early to eat with my friends. So, you know, thankfully, I was at home. I chose to stay at home to eat dinner first. Okay, this one's done. That was Permutation 15. 16 we already did, so now Permutation 17. Catch 1, knock out 2, and then catch the rest. Yeah, someone was looking out for me, because right before the movie, I had to take a massive dump before I went out. Which I could not have done, or it would have been a bigger problem had I left early and had dinner with those guys first. Alright, so, The Backrooms movie. Now, you guys know that I am pretty invested in Kane Pixel's Backrooms, Kane Parsons. I just find the concept fascinating, you know? Another dimension where it's just constant, endless rooms with monster entities chasing after you. Where physics and logic just don't apply anymore. Like, it's just a fascinating concept that Kane brought to life. Okay, so catch 1, right? Yeah, catch 1, knockout 2. Anyway, so, Backrooms movie. Like I said, I had to take a massive dump before doing this. And then we met up, we went into the theater. There were a couple of ads. You know how typically before you watch a movie in the theaters, there's a bunch of ads that get rolled? Well, there was a couple of films that did look intriguing to me. There was this one that was about this, damn, I wish I remembered the titles. Okay, catch 1, knockout 2. Is that third one aggroed? No, it's not. No, I didn't mean to backstrike it. No, that's 3 aggroed and a Krogunk. Is this still 2? No, it's 1. How's it 1? There was this trailer for a film about this dude working at a like a seafood restaurant, kinda, where everyone doesn't believe he can cook, and then he proves that he is able to cook. I don't know, and then there was this film. There was this... You for real right now? And then there was this film, this trailer for 2 gay boys being separated. I don't know. Well, no offense, but not interested in that one. Unless it turns out that when the time comes for that one to come out, it's a fabulous, fantastic movie. It's a must-watch. Hey, you talked about the new games yet? Indeed I have, and we're moving on. It's green. Don't worry, instead of talking about green, we'll talk about something yellow. And no, not that one. Anyways, regardless, so let's go over the Backrooms movie. And it's a pretty well-made film, too. There are issues with it, of course. I do have my issues with it. But, you know, from what I see online, not to the degree that the internet has with it. A lot of people like it, a lot of people hate it. I'll go over that stuff later on. But, okay, the Backrooms movie. Directed by Kane Parsons. So, let me tell you this. Watching all the Backrooms found footage online, especially watching Kane Parsons videos of the Backrooms, them being gritty, grimy, almost like 480p, because it's found footage, you know, it's kind of blurry. It is surreal to see the Backrooms in clear quality. Actual HD 4K clear quality. Like, it's actually surreal to see the Backrooms look this realistic, backed up by a big budget. I think this film was made on like a budget of 10 mil. And oh yeah, it made its earnings back tenfold probably. Come on, I need to knock out 2. There we go, there we go, there we go. Is that 3? It's 3! I actually don't know what happens if you knock out 2 when you're in a group of 3. I don't know. I'm not going to risk that. Okay, 1 turned back, so I need you. Are you aggroed yet? I'm assuming you are. So, the Backrooms movie, we begin with some random guy and his found footage perspective. Some guy working with Async who got lost from the rest of his group. And he's exploring the Backrooms. It's actually very Kane Pixels. It's very Kane's style. You know, if you've seen his YouTube series, it is one-to-one his style. And that's actually crazy to see his YouTube style on the silver screen. So that's how we begin. We begin with whatever the dude's name was. The Async worker who got lost and separated from the rest of his group. Well, if there's no shiny alpha, then this shiny will be sacrificed. Remember, now I need to catch the rest of these. So, you know, he's walking, he's exploring with his camera. We even see him carrying a bag, like a duffel bag with him. And then, while he explores, he finds this little area with a bunch of radio equipment. So he tries to radio into HQ to see if someone can come and get him. And then he gets jump scared by a poor seagull that flies into the Backrooms. This poor bird was just randomly flying and then just bashes its face into a Backrooms wall. Well, the seagull at least is still alive at the moment and manages to fly off. My god, why can't I do this? Ugh. So eventually, of course, we know his fate. He gets got by an entity. And then, we get the title card. So this movie takes place, I think, around like June 1990. And I do believe that this film is canon to the rest of Kane's YouTube series. Like, it's actually canon. We even see locations from Kane's YouTube videos in the end of the film. Anyway, so, we meet our protagonist, Clark, who is played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, a pretty big name actor to be attached to this film, by the way. And we get to learn a bit about Clark. He is in therapy right now with his counselor, Dr. Mary Klein. They're having a session right now because Clark, he's kind of in a rough spot with his life at the moment. His wife kicked him out. His business, his furniture store, isn't really doing well. He just feels a lot of resentment to the world. Ew. And a lot of things that Clark says is like, damn, why he explaining me every step of the way? You know, he explains how it's like he doesn't try to hurt people, but he just does. It's just how he's wired, and it's like, damn, that's me to a T. I wish I wasn't like this, but I very much am. He also explains how, you know, he feels a lot of resentment towards his wife. Like, he works, he pays for everything, and yet she kicks him out of his house. You know, he pays for the roof over her head. He pays for her school. She wants kids. But if they have a kid, then she won't be working to make money. And who do you think will be responsible for paying all the bills? It's him. So he feels a lot of resentment towards his wife. Anyway, so Clark at his furniture store, Captain Clark's Ottoman Empire. Yeah, he's filming a commercial, a very, you know, crudely done commercial. We also meet two of his staff members. Or maybe it's just one staff member. I don't know. I think it might be two. We meet his staff members, Kat and Bobby. And yes, you already know, Bobby is recording the commercial that they're filming. You already know what that camera is going to be put in use for later. So the store is empty. Clark is in his office, and a technician is here to look at what's going on with the electrical problems. You know, the lights keep on flashing, the power keeps on going out. So they go to the basement to check the breaker box, and when they open the breaker box, they notice that there's a couple of switches at the very bottom that just shouldn't be there. Like, they're in a position that just doesn't make sense. They're not the right color, they're not aligned with the rest. You flip them, nothing happens. It's like, why are these here? Clark even mentions that those weren't there before. So, this is where I feel like maybe they should have spent a little bit more time addressing this. Because we just jump right in, and we're just told, hey, the lights are flashing, like the power keeps on coming in and out. Maybe we should have had a scene where Clark first discovers the power's coming in and out. He goes to the breaker box. We look at the breaker box, and it's normal. And then he calls a technician guy. And then when the technician looks at it, hey, what are these? Those weren't there before. I feel like one extra scene to show us that those weren't there before may have been helpful. I don't know, that's just me. Then again, had they done that, then people may have complained that the film is holding your hand and guiding you through every last detail. Also, throughout the film, we also see bits of Mary's backstory. She used to live with her mother, which their house is now being demolished and condemned. And we see a flashback memory of her and her mother putting their handprints on the wet cement of their house's pavement, or the driveway. But now that the house is being demolished, the construction dudes, they at least hammer out the handprint for her to keep. Yeah, anyway, so Clark, kind of convenient, he owns a furniture store because he could just sleep on one of the beds at his store and even have a TV on. You know, but when Clark is trying to watch TV, the power comes on and off. So, damn, Clark kind of has a pretty rough life at the moment. I'm trying to think what else happened. Yeah, you know, a random scene. We see Mary meeting up with the neighborhood. I don't really know what that scene was about. It was just kind of random. And it's not really explained what exactly Mary's desires are in this film, besides helping Clark. Because she, during this, just sees like a mother and daughter in the background, and she just seems entranced by it. And then she takes some sort of pill. It's like, what? That led to nothing. Anyway, so the following night, Clark, once again in bed, drinking, wants to go to sleep, watching TV. But then the TV, instead of playing the program of a competing furniture business, just shows Clark live footage of back rooms, but little to Clark's knowledge of what he's watching. So Clark tries to, you know, beat some life into the TV, but then he notices that the light is flickering in the basement where the breaker box is. So Clark goes down to check it out. He you know, fidgets with the breaker box. So the power is completely out. So Clark is like, shit, now I gotta call the technician guy in the morning because the store has no power. So he's about to leave and go back upstairs to sleep, but then as he's walking out, he notices, what's that on the wall? There's a yellow line on the wall. What's that? He hears maybe like a faint sound from the other side of the wall. He tries to lean in to listen, but he just falls right through. And he enters the back rooms. When he first enters the back rooms, he just sees a big cluster of furniture. You know, this is also where I'm saying it is surreal to see the back rooms in HD, like not blurry quality, genuine backrooms footage. I'm sure parts of the backrooms were all CGI, especially the found footage parts. But I also feel like maybe some they actually built sets for. I feel like most of them they probably built real sets for. Because the location that we see Clark enter, we revisit that set piece over and over. So I feel like that was really made, like a real backroom set was made. But, you know, found footage parts were CGI. And, you know, that's part of my critique, part of my negatives with the film. I know there's only so much they can do, right? At least with the first film. The fact that we just kept on revisiting this one set piece is like, okay, I can see, you know, and of course it makes sense, right? The characters keep on re-entering from the point they do, and it makes sense that where they go in would always look the same. But, you know, I'm a little disappointed that throughout the film we didn't explore a broader setting of the backrooms. We see this one set piece over and over, and then whenever we do get some like hype found footage chase sequence, it's, you know, the blurry found footage CGI. Like, I wanted to see more in clear quality. Anyway, so this one is catch 1, knockout 2, knockout 2, catch 4. Anyways, yeah, Clark enters the back rooms. He sees a mountain of furniture. Whoops. And he explores. I'm not gonna lie, this part was a teensy bit slow as well. Like, the beginning of the film was pretty slow, just to introduce you to the characters, and then finally get to the point of the story where someone discovers the back rooms. But it just makes sense that whenever a character finds the back rooms, they just slowly begin to explore. So catch 1, knockout 2, knockout 2. Right? Yeah. There we go. No, that's 3! Anyway, so yeah, Clark just very, very slowly explores. And it makes sense, you're not just gonna run in. Come on, come on, come over here. Clark very slowly explores. He sees a reflected stop sign. Instead of saying stop, it says pots. He just keeps on going. He sees a cardboard cutout of that like caveman looking guy with like a speaker box saying a bunch of phrases in different languages, and then little to his knowledge, he enters the same room that has the camera in it, that has the same footage that he saw on his TV mere moments ago. Okay, knockout 2, and then knockout another 2. So, Clark just like feels around, and he notices, hey, there's something sticking out of the yellow wall. He opens a panel. Not only does he find a crawl space, he finds the same duffel bag that we saw at the beginning of the film. So Clark opens it, he sees the duffel bag, he opens it, there's a bunch of like VHS and floppy disks inside. Also, yeah, I'm pretty sure Clark saw the dead seagull from earlier too. Like, rest in peace to that bird. Damn, the fact that animals can even arrive in the back rooms just breaks my heart, thinking how many poor puppies just exploring in the backyard fell into the back rooms and, you know, just got lost. Their owners have no idea what happened to their beloved pet. So, yeah, Clark finds the name badge of the async worker, and I thought maybe this would, maybe something would come of this. I thought maybe Clark would be like, maybe this company is looking into whatever this place is. I should look into this. Nope. That name badge that Clark found led to nothing. So Clark goes through the crawl space, and you know, on the other side, he finds a bunch of no-clip objects. And I did see online that people pointed out, are these the no-clipped shoes of the, you know, the future casualties in the same film? Like, they're already no-clipped here before the people even went in and died. I'll get more onto that later. But then Clark, he starts hearing footsteps. He looks back at the crawl space, and he sees something has not only destroyed the cardboard cutout, but also just thrown it across the room. So now Clark knows, I'm not alone here. There's a threat in here. I'm kind of cornered. So he escapes. He escapes, and thank God that he just made it. He just walked in a big circle. So he made it behind the POTS sign, which is right in front of where he came from. So Clark, in panic, runs back to the door. You know, at first he just, like, goes to the wall, doesn't feel where he can no-clip. But eventually he finds it, thank God. Because the backrooms absolutely could have just screwed him over and been like, nope, you're stuck here, bucko. So yeah, Clark does leave. But then he comes back in, takes a stool, and then goes back out. Now, I saw people memeing this moment, like, yo, Clark just found an infinite money glitch. He can just get infinite furniture from the backrooms and sell it for infinite profit. So I saw people memeing this moment, like, yo, Clark is a genius. Yo, he steals furniture to sell. But no, I interpret it as, he took it as proof that what he just experienced was real. Maybe he thinks he's dreaming, maybe it was a hallucination, but he took an actual physical stool with him. It's real. It's proof that it was real. That's how I interpreted it. Anyway, so the next day, Clark goes back to his therapy session with Dr. Klein. He tries to convince her that he found this place in his store. It's like a massive office building. And supposedly it's been a couple days too, because he already briefly mapped out the surrounding area. But of course, what sensible doctor would believe him, especially when he said that he hasn't had a drink since like Friday or whatever he said. So he's just like, I'm gonna come back here with proof. So what does Clark do? He goes to his staff. He goes to his staff's home. They live in a very like vibrant orange place. It's really weird coloring, but whatever. So he he goes and brings in Bobby and Kat to do quote-unquote research. Bring the camera with you too. So Clark brings a rope with them and a bag, a couple of supplies. Clark leads them into the back rooms. Obviously, I feel like obviously seeing is believing, but I feel like had Clark just briefly explained, hey, I found a place inside the store and it's massive. Like, if Clark just even briefly explained it, I feel like that would have helped him. That would have helped him leagues, you know? Instead of just, here, follow me. Where are we going? Oh my god, he just clipped through the wall. Then again, you know, like I said, but seeing is believing. So Clark leads them to one spot that he wasn't able to explore himself. This very steep slide almost that goes down to a lower area. And how convenient, there's a bed frame just on the other side where they are. So they tie a rope to Bobby, and the other side of the rope is tied to the bed frame. So Bobby is to go down with his camera to explore and look around. When Bobby does make it to the bottom, it's a very dark, you know, yellow room with a bunch of dirty laundry in it. Very smelly clothes. And then I saw people point out this online, like, these clothes, is it theirs? Like, is it Bobby's and Kat's clothes? More on that later. Man, y'all should have heard it. I don't know how many other theaters had this experience. During this moment in the film, when Bobby is just exploring the piles of dirty clothes, there was a head sticking out of the clothes. Now, not an entity's head, it was the head of the cardboard caveman guy sticking out of the clothes. And when my theater saw that, and they realized there is a head sticking out of the clothes watching him right there, the entire theater gasped. I don't know how many other theaters had the same experience. My entire theater literally gasped. Like, holy shit, there's something right there watching him. And then we realize it's just a cardboard cutout. At this point, the rope has, you know, can only go so far. So Clark notices off in the distance in the other room, oh shit, there's something here. There is another creature here. So in a panic, Bobby tries to climb back up. Climb back up as Clark and Kat pull him up on the other side of the rope. So they make it back up. So Bobby does make it back up, but the rope isn't all the way up. So something on the other end pulls the rope, pulls Bobby back down. So Kat and Clark, they're trying to hold on to him. You even hear Bobby just be like, don't let go. Don't let go of me. It just reminds me of the scene where, you know, Noah died. Him just grabbing onto Glenn's arms and being like, don't let go of me. And then Noah died in the most horrific death I've ever seen in Walking Dead. Okay, so no to this. Up next, catch 1, knockout 2, knockout 3, catch 3. So Bobby gets pulled back down. And then, because the other end of the rope is tied to the bed frame gets pulled, pushing Clark and Kat down. So when they're down there, there's a trail of blood as Bobby's body gets pulled away into the, into another room. Kat is frantically running after her, her lover. While Clark just picks back up the camera, just not sure what to do. And then he hears Kat screaming. So now Clark knows he's screwed. He's kind of trapped here. Both Bobby and Kat are probably dead. So he needs to run for his life. He makes an executive decision and goes through, like, between the walls. A hole in the wall. So he crawls through to another room. And then at this moment, the screen freezes. the lights turn on, and the fire alarm went off. I'm not kidding you guys. When I was in the theater, when I got to this point in the film, literally halfway into the film, the screen froze, the lights came on, and the fire alarm went off. So we had to leave. We actually got through half the film, and we had to leave because the fire alarm went off. And on our way out, we don't think it was a prank. You know, some TikToker pulled the fire alarm. We don't think that was the case. Because when we were leaving, we actually smelled smoke. Now, we didn't see any flames, but we think it was genuine. I think it was genuine. I don't think it was a prank. I think it was genuine. There really was some sort of, like, emergency. Or potential emergency. When we left, fire trucks and police cars were already there. Okay, catch 1, knock out 2. Aggro 1 of them, aggro 1, there you go. Where are you going? Is this 2? Yes. Okay, catch 1, knock out 2. So yeah, I'm not kidding. Halfway into the film, just when it was getting good, the fire alarm went off and we had to leave. We actually got through half the film, and we had to leave. Now, obviously, the theater was going to reimburse us, at least they better. And it was actually my friend who got us the tickets. Of course, we had to pay him back. So, we got vouchers for a free movie. We actually went back the following night. Like, I wanted to see the end of this goddamn movie. Okay, knockout 2. Now knockout 3. Are those red eyes I see in the background? Is there an alpha back there? Okay, knockout 3. This shiny is to be sacrificed. So yeah, the fire alarm went off, we had to leave. We got vouchers, so literally the following night, also around 10 p.m., we went back to watch the rest of the film. Now, obviously, yes, we had to rewatch the entire first half too. Which, you know, I was fine with. Even though the first half of the film was pretty slow, maybe this time I could notice some details that I missed the first time. I don't think I did, but, you know, I wasn't mad at it. I was a little upset, but you know what I'm trying to say. Okay. Knockout 3, and catch the remaining 3. So, we went back the next night to finish the rest of the film. So, continuing where we left off, Clark, now we get to the found footage aspect. Clark just runs for his life, and he explores a bunch of new rooms too. Instead of the yellow wallpaper rooms, he goes into this like white hallway room with like closets and clothes hangers, kinda. But then he eventually, oh god. Oh, hold on. No, get that off my screen. Stupid bots in chat. You know, he's running for his life. He eventually finds his way back to the yellow rooms, but then keeps on running. He goes into this room where there's a Christmas tree Christmas tree lit up. It's a pitch black dark room. Only thing lit up is a Christmas tree in the middle playing Feliz Navidad. So Clark just walks around the tree, looks at it, but then he notices there's some sort of figure sitting right behind the tree. So he walks around the tree. he looks at the other side. An arm reaches up to turn the light on some lamp. And then we see from the shadows emerge this, like, woman figure chasing him. That was pretty terrifying. It's not necessarily, you know, a jump scare kind of movie, you know? It's not that. It's more of a suspense kind of horror movie. And I'm here for it. Yo, that was really not expected. Not only for there to be something sitting behind the tree in the dark, to turn on a light, but then literally some sort of woman figure emerges from the dark. So anyone would naturally shit their pants at this moment. Clark runs for his life and just keeps on running. He eventually runs into this, like, almost pool rooms area. And then he meets a dead end. He's cornered. But he does, first of all, he sets down the camera because he hears Kat's voice. Kat, on the other side of the wall, is able to see Clark. But Clark isn't able to see Kat. According to Clark, he's staring at a blank wall. But according to Kat, she is looking through glass. She can see Clark. And Clark, Kat even warns Clark, Clark, watch out behind you! Like I said, Clark set down the camera, and we're watching the camera pointed at Clark. And then we see the camera move. Something behind the camera picked up the camera. Oh my god, that was terrifying. But then, cut to black. Or rather, fade to white, maybe. Because now, we follow with Mary, the other protagonist of the film. Hold on, so cross this one off. Up next, catch 1, knockout 2, knockout 4, catch 2. So we get more of Mary's backstory, how she was shut in by her mother, her mentally unstable mother. So Mary, as a young girl, she lived in a desolate, quiet house. All the windows are boarded up, the door is barricaded. She's not even allowed to look out the window. Her mother, I guess being super protective to a toxic degree, a mentally ill degree, just refuses to let her daughter even look out the window, let alone go outside. So Mary, she had a pretty traumatizing childhood. And I guess that's what the earlier scene represented when she was staring at the mother and daughter. She yearns for a genuine motherhood, I guess. I gotta take you out first. Anyways, so we do see that eventually Mary's mother did get institutionalized into, like, a hospital. You know, when Mary was still at a young age. We don't actually know what happened to Mary after that. Was she in foster care? Was she adopted? We don't know. But we do know that she eventually maybe went back to her childhood home to watch it be demolished. Maybe she continued living in that home. We don't know. But we do get this shot, this sequence where Mary's very dirty house, where she was barricaded in, the camera just goes below the floor. Over and over, several layers, each layer being more and more distorted. Okay, catch 1, knockout 2. Anyway, so eventually, Mary wakes up from a nightmare, and she gets a message from her answering machine. And it's Clark. Clark saying that he opened the window or something, and he's not gonna come back. He's not gonna see her again. Okay, knockout 2, now knockout all 4. Oh, that's 3. So Mary is worried about her patient. She decides to go and check in on Clark at the store, since she knows that, you know, he's not at home, clearly. He was kicked out. So, she drives over to Captain Clark's Automan Empire, and she just walks right in. Turns out the door's not locked. And, you know, it's very much implied that Clark has been in there for quite a long time. We see a bunch of, you know, past due letters just at the door. So it's been quite a while since Clark has been in there, since everyone's been in there. Mary just goes into the empty store. You ever get that, like, off feeling whenever you're inside a big furniture store? You know, it's empty, it's quiet. Even if there's background music playing, it's still kind of eerie. Man, it's worse. It's worse here because it is silent and dark. Even in the middle of the day, it's still dark because no lights are on. But anyways, Mary realizes nobody's here. But she does remember that Clark mentioned he found a room in, like, the basement. Okay, now catch these two. So she goes down, the lights are flickering. She sees a whiteboard that's mapping out the immediate area. And, lucky for Mary, you know, also I forgot to mention, Clark taped a doorway on the wall so they can find where the no-clip point is. On the whiteboard, lucky for Mary, Clark literally wrote out clear as day directions or instructions right there. Door, go through. So Mary's hesitant. You know, it's like, what do you mean door? This, like, taped rectangle on the wall? She just stares at it for a while, but then notices, like, a housefly, a fruit fly, does fly into the wall and disappear. So Mary tries herself. She first sticks her hand in, it actually no clips. And then she walks her entire body in. And she's in the back rooms. Only this time, Mary, when she goes in, the pile of furniture's gone. Not that that really mattered at all. But, you know. The rest of the surrounding is still the same. Hey, remember Kane Pixel's YouTube series where, you know, parts of the back rooms would change randomly? Wow, lucky for our characters that didn't happen. Or hey, remember how Kane's depiction of the back rooms can even warp time? Wow, lucky that didn't happen. Anyways. So Mary explores the immediate area that we saw Clark explore. Eventually, she finds herself in a little corner where there's a bunch of writing and drawings on the wall. I tried to read what the writing said on the wall, something like, the layout changed again. And it depicts this, like, dark, shadowy monster devouring the people in here. But then she turns around because she hears noises. And we see something peeking out the corner. How is that not a backstrike? We see something peeking around the corner. But, you know, it's not that scary because it turns out it's just Clark. Anyway, so, The two of them are together, but they hear something else off in the distance. Clark just tells her, stay calm, don't panic, just be quiet. He slowly takes a couple steps back, and then, surprise, chokeholds and knocks out Mary, saying to her, this is for your own good. So at this point, we know that Clark has completely lost it. He has completely lost his mind now. Okay, now, catch 1, knockout 3, catch 5. Yeah, Clark has completely lost his mind, because when Mary regains consciousness, she is now tied to a chair at a dinner table, where not only Clark is there, but also three Backrooms entities are there as well. There is the guy who turned on the lamp, the woman who chased Clark, and a brand new one, this fat guy. And all of their faces are disfigured. They don't move, they don't react. They're just there. And Clark explains what's going on, where they are. Whatever this place is, it remembers, but poorly. Throughout the film, they use this metaphor, like, you try explaining to a person what a dog is, who's never seen a dog, and then you ask them to draw it. They draw it, maybe they'll get some details right, but not everything. So that's what Clark believes the Backrooms is. It's a place that, you know, manifests things based off of people's memories, based off their subconscious. But it remembers it wrong. So each time it remembers, it's remembered a little off, a little differently. And that's why people were saying that, like, we also know the Backrooms, time doesn't really work the same way. So that's why I've seen people online saying the shoes that were no-clipped into the floor earlier were those the shoes of Kat and Bobby before they even entered and died in the Backrooms. Okay, hold on, let me see. Catch 1, knockout 3. That's 2. Or, like, you know, the pile of dirty laundry. Is that the clothing of Bobby and Kat even before they entered the Backrooms? So, yeah, Clark explains that this place creates things based off of people's memories, their subconscious, but it creates them kind of warped and wrong. These things are, you know, mindless creatures. You know, Clark even has a knife, because of course he does. Where did he find that? I don't know. He demonstrates that these things, they're mindless creatures. They don't feel anything. Look, I can stab this guy right through the neck. Doesn't hurt him. Doesn't even react. And you know what the best part is? Unbuttons his shirt, digs his hands into his belly gut, and just rips out stuffing. No blood, no guts, stuffing. And he's just like, the best part is, you can eat them. So yeah, Clark has completely lost his mind now. And he wants to do the same exercise they did at the beginning of the film. Which I don't even think I mentioned. They did this role play, like, alright, I'm gonna play your wife, and you just play yourself, and we're gonna go through that night again. But now Clark, he wants it done properly. He wants it done to where he's in the right, and he gets an apology. So he wants Mary to play his wife. But wait, something's not right. He goes over and scalps the woman because she has red hair. It's because we saw a picture of Clark's wife, and she has red hair. And his wife doesn't appear anywhere else in the film besides that one picture. Why does she look so familiar? Who is that actress? Why does she look so familiar? So Clark wants to roleplay, but this time, quote-unquote, properly, to where he gets an apology for being kicked out of his house, and gratitude that he is working so hard to pay for the house, pay for her school. And I've also seen this meme as well, where Clark is just like, stay in character! Stay in character! Just swinging a knife around. Caption like, when you don't have a date to prom, so you have bro dress up in a wig. Stay in character! Stay in character! Anyway, so Mary plays none of Clark's shit. She just calls him out for being, I guess, petty. Saying, it's all your fault, Clark. Yeah, but after some convincing, Clark does let her go. Clark likes it in the back rooms. He's happy here. He doesn't want to leave. So Mary just tells him, you don't have to leave. Just let me leave, and you can stay here forever. So Clark does. She goes and cuts off one of the ropes restraining Mary to the chair. But then the woman runs off, kind of scared, because something is approaching. She runs to the corner, just like constantly bangs her head, trying to get away. Because she's terrified of what's approaching. At this point, only one of Mary's arms is free. So what approaches? It is a big CGI disfigured Clark in a pirate getup. His own manifestation of himself as the pirate character for his store. And then Clark is talking to him as if, he's talking to his other self. Because he's just like, don't worry. She's okay. She's not going to hurt us. She was just leaving. Because Clark, what he believes the backrooms is, manifestations of people's subconscious or memories. Clark sees this being as himself. Because it is modeled after himself. So he thinks that this is him. The backrooms version of him. He doesn't think it's going to attack or be aggressive. So this thing picks up Clark as if you pick up a baby doing some airplanes. It almost looks like it's bringing Clark in for a hug. But then this thing just brutally kills Clark. It just bites him on the shoulder, tearing him apart. But damn, that was all the gore we were going to get. Because then we see a bunch of, like, sloshing sounds. But all the rest of Clark's death happens off-screen. Anyway, so Mary runs for her life. Because Clark is psycho, and then this creature that resembles him, this, like, 7-foot creature, is tearing him apart. So she runs for her life. She exits the little kitchen room that they're in. And where does she run out to? She's in the backrooms neighborhood area. So she's running, but the creature is dragging Clark's dead bloody body, chasing her. So Mary, yeah, she just has to run for her life. She makes it, past a room full of couches, and then she makes it past a door that leads to a big abyss surrounded by, a cross-section of office cubicles, what looks like. With only one staircase in the middle going up to a door in the ceiling. Now, I know she's scared, she's in the freeze response, but, like, the creature is on the other side of the door, breaking down the door. You may want to hurry the hell up. Because she keeps on, like, just staying still? Staying still. And not hurrying the hell up. Opening the door and climbing away. Anyway, so, yeah, she pulls herself up. obviously, somehow the creature follows. And then she makes it to a backrooms copy of Clark's furniture store. A backrooms copy. Now, obviously, this is just movie making, reusing the set, but differently. But you know what? I'm not mad about it. Yeah, so she makes it to a backrooms copy of the furniture store. She tries to go through the front doors, but there's a big wall blocking them. Blocking her exit. So she turns around and, uh-oh, the creature's right there. So she tries to get away. She grabs like a coat rack to arm herself. But then she keeps on tripping because she's not looking at where she's going, because she's walking backwards, keeping her eyes on the threat. Okay, let's see. Catch 1, knockout 3, knockout 2, catch 3. Yeah, so catch 1 first. So, because she's tripping over everything, she actually sets off some sort of, like, trap that the backrooms manifested. A trap that just lets off a bunch of gas. I guess a bunch of knockout gas, or laughing gas. Because she starts to grow unconscious, but of course, in movie suspense, she regains full consciousness right as the creature is on top of her, about to literally tear her in half. Okay, catch 1, knockout 3, and then knockout 2. Damn it, that fourth one just had to be aggroed. So, while the monster's on top of her, she tries to figure out what to do. She pulls out the handprint cement block that she's had the entire film out of her pocket and just uses it to bash in the monster's head. Doesn't kill him, but it does manage to get him off of her so that Mary can escape. And she escapes through this very tight wall. This little, very tight wall, hole between the wall, I should say. So the monster can't follow her through the tight space, but when Mary makes it to the very end... Hold on, knockout 3, knockout 2. When Mary makes it to the very end, she's actually surprised by a bunch of async workers in hazmat suits. She gets a face full of fire hydrant. But, you know, the async workers realize, hey, this is a woman stranded in here. We should take her out. So, they carry her through the doorway that we see in Kane Pixel's YouTube videos. The door that Async somehow created to access the backrooms. Okay, now catch these remaining 3. I should also mention that throughout the film, we also see this background character. This async worker. He sees on a monitor footage of Clark in the backrooms. But obviously, this is just some random person out there in the world. He doesn't know who this guy is. And then, in another scene, we see him making popcorn, about to watch TV with his family. And then a commercial for Captain Clark's Automan Empire shows up on the TV screen, and the dude recognizes, hey, that's the guy I saw inside the backrooms. So, when Mary is brought to the async facility, this guy questions her. What was his name? Paul? I forget. So this guy is tasked with questioning Mary what happened, what she's seen. Also, as Mary is, you know, as she's cleaned up and she's being taken through the hallways, and I think this is a pretty big deal. We see Async has actually apprehended, captured, and has in the real world the Captain Clark creature. They actually brought an entity to the real world, you know, the front rooms. They actually brought a creature here to study. I feel like that's a pretty big deal. We've never seen a backrooms entity leave the backrooms before. And the film kind of just brushes it off as like a background detail. They have the pirate creature strapped onto a table and they're analyzing it, they're studying it. And I'm thinking, that's a pretty big deal. A backrooms entity is out of the backrooms for the very first time. And then we also see behind a door that they have dozens, maybe hundreds of those same caveman cardboard cutouts. They've collected them to study. Anyway, so this async worker, Paul guy, I think that's his name, you know, asks Mary a couple questions. You know, he just pulls out pictures like, was this man the person you were looking for inside the compound? How did you get in there? I walked through a wall in the basement of a furniture store. Pulls out a picture of Ottoman Empire. Was it here? Was it this furniture store? So Mary, yeah, she doesn't exactly ask for a lawyer, but she does ask, who are you? What's going on? Where am I? Where was I? So the dude, was his name Phil or was it Paul? Shit, it was one or the other. So the dude finally explains. We, Async, used to be a company that made MRI machines, but not anymore. Not ever since we discovered that place. And then he just goes on to explain his beliefs, like, nothing ever in recorded human history is more important than figuring out what this is. And this dude even reveals that he's been in there before, too. He's been in there. He was one of the guys at some point, maybe not the ones we saw in the film. At some point, he was in the hazmat suits exploring the location. So as the guy is explaining, we just see Mary tune out everything he's saying. And then we go back into the back rooms where we see backroomsified locations of every place we've been to in the entire film. The neighborhoods, the therapy office, the store, the streets, everywhere. Even the Async building that Mary is currently sitting at, every location has been backroomsified. And then we even see, as a final shot of the film, a backrooms copy of Mary sitting there in the exact same backroomsified Async office, or Async almost interrogation room. Okay, this next one, catch 1, knockout 3, knockout 3, catch 2. Man! But yeah. There's kind of two ways to interpret this. Now, I think the second one makes more sense. but I'll explain. There's two ways to interpret this. One, the locations we've seen so far have fallen into the back rooms, and now those locations in real life are gone, which I highly doubt. Or two, these are real-life locations that have been copied into the back rooms. I think that one makes more sense. The back rooms made a copy of Mary, a very disfigured copy, nonetheless. Like, even in the back rooms, we see missing posters of both Kat and Bobby. So the back rooms is weird, TLDR. Now, what exactly does this mean? We don't know. Also, the guy, Phil, or Paul, I think his name may have been Phil. The guy, Phil, he did mention that it's important to study the backrooms because doors are opening everywhere. And we need to figure out why and figure out how to stop it. So, doors are opening everywhere, as he puts it. Entrances into the backrooms is opening everywhere, throughout the country, maybe throughout the world, the planet. Now, here's where the good news comes in. Kane Pixels, or Kane Parsons, has already announced that they are working on a sequel. They're working on another film already. He's revealed that this is only the surface of the backroom stories that he wants to tell. And I'm here for it. You know what endgame I think Kane is working towards? I think. You know, this is just my idea of what he's working towards. The backrooms eventually swallowing up Earth. Swallowing up reality. Like, the backrooms is growing unstable. It is literally bleeding into Earth. And eventually, Earth will just not exist anymore. I kind of want to see that happen. Like, imagine a Backrooms movie with a much bigger budget. Actually seeing that CGI transformation of Earth completely being swallowed up by the backrooms. I kind of want to see that. I don't... Is it bad if I say I kind of don't want to see a happy ending? Like, Async can try all they want, but they can never study the backrooms to the point they will figure out anything. Determine what it is, how it functions. They can study all they want, but they're never going to find answers. And then the inevitable merger between Earth and the backrooms. It happens. They can't do anything to stop it. This is the end of not only Earth, but not only humanity, but Earth as a whole. Maybe even the universe. I kind of want to see that happen. But there's also the issue if they do that, let's say, obviously not the second film, let's say, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 movies in, if we ever get to that. And that is the end game, we actually see Earth be swallowed up by the backrooms. Well, what now? Right? Well, what now? Are we just gonna see, you know, like, humanity, what's left of humanity in the backrooms surviving? I mean, that'd be cool. There is no more Earth, no more exit to find. It's literally just all backrooms now. Every single waking moment is survival. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. Unless you want to go the route of, like, a natural disaster where eventually, kind of like the water, it will recede. And then the shores, the land will show back up. I don't know, kind of like the backrooms will recede and then Earth will be spat back out. I'm just throwing ideas out there. But yeah, if that is the end game for the backrooms story that Kane is cooking up, I want to see that. I want to see eventually Earth be swallowed up. That'd be cool to see. It's like very cosmic, almost eldritch horror, where it is a horror concept beyond our capabilities of understanding. That's cool! So that's the Backrooms movie. I'm not gonna lie, we did not stay to the end of the credits to see if there was a post-credit scene, but I kinda doubt it. Maybe there is and I missed something? I don't know. It's a bit of a shame that they killed off Clark, since Chiwetel Ejiofor is a pretty big name to attach to your project. Since his character was killed off, you kinda can't bring him back in the sequel. You can bring back Mary, but, you know, Clark is a little bit harder to pull off. Now, how did I think about this film? I enjoyed it. I liked finally being able to see crisp, clear HD footage of the Backrooms on the big screen, instead of the grimy, low-quality, found footage style, which, you know, wasn't intentional, of course, but I just wanted to see the Backrooms look clear, like what it actually looks like if you were there in person. So we finally got that. The acting was really good. Now, given the nature of this film, some moments did drag out, but, you know, that's okay. Especially at the beginning, where you just want to get into the Backrooms. You just want to sink your teeth into the meat. But it's okay. I get it. You need to set up the characters, establish their backgrounds, and then when they discover the Backrooms, you know, they need to be in shock. They need to have that curiosity to explore. They need to discover this place is dangerous. So yeah, it was a little bit slow at the beginning, but I'll give it a pass, given the nature of the content. I enjoyed the first half more than the second half, well, quote-unquote half. After Clark pretty much tied up Mary, it's like, well, we kind of lost the plot a bit. I don't know, it was kind of weird to me. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that when Clark lost his mind in front of Mary, he opened the fridge and there was Kat's head. Kat's severed head just sitting in the fridge. Yeah, he completely lost it. Anyway, so a lot of Clark's story happened off screen. After you know, something picked up the camera, the next time we follow with Clark should have been days, maybe weeks later, where we completely missed him discovering the fact that the entities are harmless. You can eat them. Him discovering this, like, almost living room kitchen area. Him finding Kat and then maybe finding her severed head, or maybe finding her body and then him cutting off her head himself. Like, that's some stuff that we just completely glossed over. We just jumped from Clark being scared and running for his life to Clark just completely losing it. Okay, catch 1, knockout 3, knockout 4, catch 1. How did this not notice me? Yeah. Minor complaints about the film. Couple things that they glossed over, couple things that they probably should have shown on screen. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. I liked it. Now, I can't say the same for some parts of the internet. Let's get into the drama that this movie has stirred up. Okay, what was it? It was now Knockout 3. Yeah, there's a lot of drama with the Backrooms movie right now. Mostly Twitter. There's a lot of people online being like, there's no way Kane directed this movie. You know? There's no way. He probably had someone ghostwrite the script for him. They probably had someone direct the film for him, and he's just taking all the credit. I'm like, seriously, people? You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like a bunch of cope that a young, talented person was able to make a pretty great movie that people enjoyed. To me, that just sounds like a bunch of cope. I mean, take it from me. Imagine this. Imagine directing. Why I get excited for a moment there? I should have known that was going to happen. Like, we've seen it happen already. Think about this. Imagine, you know, someone like me writing a movie that is not only popular, but successful and actually in theaters. Not straight to streaming, not a fan film online, a genuine film in theaters. And people like it. It is successful and, you know, well made, competently made. Nothing but passion put into making the film. I'm not gonna lie, that's like a dream come true for me, but that's never gonna happen for me. But someone as young as Kane, 20 years old at this moment, and actually made a film, an actual big production film in theaters that is wildly successful, and it's enjoyed, actually enjoyed. And for people to come out and say, there's no way he did it, you know, there's no way he is responsible for this, there's just no way. Just sounds like a bunch of cope to me. What, he can't be successful in Hollywood because what, he's too young? Because he started off on YouTube? Just smells like a lot of cope to me. So yeah, people are quote-unquote mad that, like, there's no way Kane directed this film. There's no way Kane wrote this film. It's like, buddy, did you watch his YouTube series? If you watch his series and then watch the film, it is one-to-one Kane's style. It is identical to his style. And that's not the only drama that happened. There's also supposedly this drama where Kane Parsons was doxxed. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but, you know. It's pretty despicable. But yeah, I enjoyed the Backrooms movie, even if I had my fair shares of criticisms. Even if I view it as having a handful of flaws, I still enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the sequels that it's going to get in the future. I want to know more about the Backrooms story. I want to see Kane's vision play out. You know, some of us actually want others to succeed in this world, especially in this industry. And you know what? This year has been an absolute slam dunk victory for Hollywood. At least the right side of Hollywood, the proper side of Hollywood. Not the woke corporate suit dumbasses. No, people who are making indie films, you know, smaller projects, original ideas with passion behind it, with competence, no corporate interference, no ideology insertions. Hollywood is in a great spot this year. Or at least, you know, like I said, the proper side of Hollywood. And you already know, companies like Disney are sweating balls Because, you know, a film with a guy or a couple of people in a bunch of yellow hallways is beating out a lot of their big budget films. Off of a budget of like 10 million, might I add. So, the proper side of Hollywood is winning. The bigger side of Hollywood is sweating. I'm here for it. I want to see the underdogs, the smaller ones, win and succeed. Movies like Iron Lung. Movies like, you know, movies like The Backrooms. Movies like Obsession. That was directed by a YouTuber. Now, granted, I never heard of the YouTuber before, but still. Obsession has blown up. I still have yet to watch it. I want to watch it. And there's a lot of other movies out right now that I still haven't had time to watch. Next time, I will most likely have Send Help to go over. Scary Movie 6 just came out in theaters. I really want to watch that. I already saw leaked that there's going to be a jab at K-pop demon hunters in the film. It just makes me wonder what else are they going to parody? Because the director or the screenwriter, someone came out and said, we're not holding back on how offensive we're going to be. And I'm just like, excellent. Excellent. I love to hear it. So yeah, I have a lot to watch, a lot to go over. Like I said, Send Help, Obsession, Scary Movie 6, and a bunch of films earlier this year I still haven't had the chance to watch yet. Ready or Not 2, Exit 8. What else came out? I think there was another film. Wasn't there another film? Whatever, I'll look into it. Yeah, point is, there's a lot to go over. And also, besides movies, and besides Persona, there was also Sonic 35th anniversary stuff. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, they are crossing over with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there's even going to be a Godzilla racetrack. Yo, I gotta get my hands on this game. Okay, this next one. Catch 1, Knockout 4, Catch 4. Yo, fans are eating good this year. You know, I want Hollywood to succeed. I want actors to succeed. I want movies to be good. Of course, when I watch entertainment, I want to be entertained. I want to enjoy what I'm watching. But then the corporate idiots ruining everything, it's like, man, these smaller creators, these YouTubers and their movies, they're giving you guys wedgies right now. So yes, I enjoyed The Backrooms, I enjoyed what it represents for Hollywood, and I'm here for it. Yo, I've been saying this throughout the year. This year has been excellent for movies and TV shows. Absolutely excellent. Sure, some of the projects I've watched, I was excited for throughout the year, may have been stinkers like the Mario Galaxy movie. But I'm not gonna lie, whether the projects were good or bad, this year has been excellent. Pure excellent for content, for entertainment. And I'm here for it. Oh, you know what? They also showed off gameplay for God of War Laufey. Now, I am completely clueless on the God of War franchise, so forgive me on this. Isn't the main character Deborah Ann Wall. Okay, knockout 4, catch 4. So I need to catch these 4. Seriously? And then there's a box, there's a cube of jelly named what, Frank? Voiced by Jack Quaid? So we have the actress for Karen Page with a jelly block named Frank, voiced by Huey Campbell. What the hell? See, this is why I don't know shit about the music industry. Man, I'm already too invested into Hollywood and the gaming industry. I got no room for music industry. This is bad of me to say. I want actors, I want movies to succeed, actors to succeed, I want games to succeed. But when it comes to the music industry, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda don't care. I kinda just really don't care. I can tell a lot of actors by name when I see them. I can recognize what projects they've been in. But when it comes to music artists, I'm like, who's that? What's the song? How does that song go? Oh, I don't know the name of the song. I just know how it goes. It's like... Yeah, so when it comes to the music industry, I kind of do not care. Now, I don't want anyone in the music industry, any singers, to... Like, I don't want any of their downfalls, obviously, but, you know... I don't know who these people are. I don't really care. But Hollywood and actors, I want them to succeed. Especially the smaller ones, the underlings. What? The underdogs. Like, this is stuff that I care about. This is where my passion lies. It's too bad I don't work for these industries. Damn. Like I said, it would just be a dream come true for someone like me to be in a position like Kane Parsons found himself in. Actually making movies in Hollywood, and for it to not only be successful, but also popular. That is only a fantasy that exists in my mind. That would literally be a dream come true of mine. But sadly, I just was not destined for that kind of life. Damn. Because imagine that feeling in Wonder Man, but in real life. You see yourself on the big screen, and then your mom is watching your film, and she's just like, "That is my son, I'm so proud." Oh, what a feeling that would be. That'd be like the greatest feeling in the world. Well, sadly, that's not ever going to be me. Maybe in the next life. Somewhere out there in the multiverse, I'm making films. Either directing films, or starring in films, or even just being an extra in a film. Somewhere out there in the multiverse, I have a better life. Anyways, the Backrooms. An internet creepypasta that actually became film. Remember when there was like a Slender Man movie a couple years ago? Or like a decade ago? I don't think I've ever watched that. Not even I don't think. I know for a fact I never watched that. I heard mixed things about that movie. Like, it fundamentally fails to capture on what Slender Man is at its core. It's like, damn, yo, just hire me, you know? I'll make a good Slender Man movie for you. How was that not a backstrike? Thank you. Alright, so next time I will most likely have the movie Send Help to go over. And then, I don't know, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I have a show to go over, whether it be Spider Noir, From, or maybe by next time after that, I will have already watched another film, kind of like Scary Movie 6. I really want to watch that. Like, I desperately, really want to watch that. And there's also Obsession 2. I haven't seen that yet! The targeting system in this game, like I said, is absolute dog shit. Okay, I'll do one more, and then I'll call it. So this one, next one, last one is Permutation 26. This one, Catch 2, Knockout 2, Catch 5. You know what? Actually, with this, we will be halfway, because there's 49. So let's say 50. Halfway would be 25. So with this one, we would be halfway. Oh, it feels good to be doing this and then talk about something again. Talk about a show, talk about movies. Damn, why nobody share the same interests I do? Nobody came with me to watch Mortal Kombat 2. I don't talk like this about movies and TV to anyone else. Nobody shares the same interests that I have. Anyway, so Catch 2, Knockout 2. Wait, you know what? I actually thought of something just now. This is the first time we've had Catch 2 to begin with. I wonder if I'm supposed to catch them separately or catch them together. Like if I encounter 2 and then I catch them both at the same time. I'm going to ask about that, and then I'll follow back up next time. Huh. I never thought about that. Like, see? If I do it like this and then I catch 2, is that how it's supposed to work? Or do I catch 1 at a time? I'll double check with this afterwards, or I'll double check it for next time. Oh my god! A shiny! Okay, it was catch 2, knockout 2. I'm gonna try to go straight to bed after this, because I do need to wake up early. Okay. Catch 2, knockout 2, catch 5. How my character gonna genuinely throw the ball with that much force when he's standing like an inch away from Spiritomb? Y'all saw that? How did that count as a backstrike, but not a lot of other examples we saw earlier? Guys, I kid you not. I'm being 100% serious right now. Like, I'm not lying. Right now, I just opened my Pokemon Go and I caught a Hundo Bulbasaur. I'm not kidding. Right now, I just caught a Hundo Bulbasaur. I'm about to go snatch my sister's phone so I can catch it on hers as well. In fact, I am. I'm gonna go grab it right now before it potentially despawns. Hold on. my sister even come home yet? Ah! I actually did get it. I really did just catch the Hundo Bulbasaur on hers. Alright, let's knock out 2 of these and then we'll call it for today. See, how did that count as a backstrike, but literally not... Okay, well, no shiny alpha tonight. I'll see you guys next time.